Hey, it's Kyle Shannon. I'm the co-founder and the CEO of Storyvine. And I'm going to start a series on this idea of video agility. And the first thing I want to talk about is the democratization of storytelling. Okay, before I dig into democratization of storytelling, what that means and what it makes possible, I want to go back to this concept of scarcity versus abundance when it comes to video. In a previous video of video fragility versus video agility, I talked about with video fragility, there's a scarcity mindset. Here's what that means. Because video is complicated and time-consuming and expensive, you can't have very much of it. So by definition, you have to pick and choose what topics and what people you're going to put on video. So it's very limiting. So when you're thinking, hey, I've got to solve a communication problem, you don't immediately go to video unless it's, oh, the CEO wants to say something, or it's this really important initiative that we're putting out. But you can cast a much wider net when you have an abundance mindset. When video production isn't a bottleneck anymore, you can actually start to think about where might I capture video that I otherwise wouldn't even have considered it at all. Okay, rather than give you a dictionary definition of what the democratization of video storytelling means, it's a mouthful. I'm just going to give you some examples. I'm going to give you 3 specific use cases of how you might have thought about them historically versus when you think democratizing storytelling, what is now possible. So let's start with thought leadership. So very often within an organization, you want to share good ideas, establish credibility, and so you want to create thought leadership content. And this could be shared internally, could be shared externally. With a traditional approach, with a scarcity mindset, with thought leadership, you think, okay, which VP are we going to get to do this? Or maybe it's the CEO, but you think, higher level within the organization. The reality is, though, that there are subject matter experts throughout the organization that could absolutely provide thought leadership and probably do so in a much more granular way. So what if video production weren't this bottleneck? What if you could capture thought leadership from all across the organization at all levels of the organization and then curate the best ones to share internally, to share externally, things like that? So that's one example. Another example is another internal example that we've been hearing a lot lately about DEI initiatives, so diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives within HR. I think COVID has accelerated this, but again, if we think traditionally how we might produce a video for a DEI program, we get the head of HR, maybe we get an employee or two to tell their story, and we put together a nice video and share that out with the organization. Well, what if rather than that one, really nice video that just, features 1 or 2 people, what if you could capture and share a story or 2 a week about how employees are experiencing feeling included in the organization, and do that for the next 3 years, do that for the next 5 years? Completely different mindset. You can still do the big polished video. This is not an either or thing. You can still do that nice video announcing it, but then you can share content over time that is the actual experience of people, where that program is actually being put in place. The final thing I'll share is a marketing example. So every company, values their customers. They want voice of the customer. So think customer testimonial or customer experience. Traditionally, you would say, okay, who are the 4 or 5 customers we need to get that are, demographically diverse, right? And represent a broad swath of the company. So you need to think very specifically about which customers you're going to put on camera. With this democratization model, you could say, hey, again, let's capture as many customer experiences as we can. Some of them might be used for marketing, some of them might be used for internal learnings, but you can really just think, we want to hear customer experiences, all the time from anyone, no matter what their experience was, and then we can curate the best experiences out to turn those into testimonials, but we can do learnings from the other things. Again, a completely different mindset than we kind of have to do this one exercise to get these testimonials for the website versus this ongoing, rolling capture of customer experience. Okay, here's a quick exercise that you can do if you want to start to explore this idea of democratizing video storytelling. Think about whose voice is missing. So think across your organization or within, the group that you're within, and think, if I could capture the stories from employees or this group or that group or customers or patients or doctors that I'm not currently doing, and that would make a big difference for the business, that's something that I want to do, right? That's starting to look at, you could then start to create a map of, here's the kind of stories we want to tell, and at that point, then you can start to look at, okay, we need to move toward video agility so that we can democratize video storytelling and capture these unheard voices. So quick little exercise, take out a piece of paper, write down sections of your company, and write down whose voice is missing. I hope this helps.